Trump with some big picks for his new cabinet, but how does he get them through? Can he appoint them? What if the Senate, it gets difficult in their confirmation process? Do we have an alternative path through recess appointments? Here's what the AP says, and we also have pulled up portions of the Constitution that are relevant, and we'll see how this might work. But here's what the AP says. They tell us, as Trump moves to set up a more forceful term this time, he's picking loyalists for his cabinet, and he's considering recess appointments so that he can skip over the Senate confirmations and appoint these people to powerful positions. Over the weekend, he demanded that they consider recess appointments, and the new Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, has confirmed that he will. But it's now being tested because Gaetz is here, Tulsi's here. And on Wednesday, after Trump announced Gaetz, we have a question. Can they gain majority support? Republicans have 53 senators, but is that going to be enough when we have squishy Republicans like Murkowski and Collins? Now, the Senate, as set up by the Constitution, holds the important role in confirming or rejecting these high-level positions, right? Advice and consent of the Senate. It's part of the government's checks and balances that the president can't just appoint whomever they want. However, there is a clause in the Constitution that does allow the president to fill out their administrations if the Senate is in recess. During the nation's early history, Congress would take months-long break from Washington's, and presidents would then use recess appointments to have their jobs filled. And the Democrats have done a lot of this. So when the Republicans and others criticize Trump on this, just remind them. Bill Clinton had 139 recess appointments, all right? George Bush made 171. They didn't use it for top-level cabinet positions, according to the CRS, Congressional Research Service. And Obama tried to continue the practice, using it 32 times, but then the Supreme Court came out and put a check on it. The Supreme Court unanimously ruled that the Senate has to recess or adjourn for 10 days before a president can make unilateral appointments. They can't be gone for a day. That's resulted in a practice where the Senate, even during weeks-long breaks from Washington, still holds pro forma sessions where one senator opens and closes the chamber, but no legislative business is conducted. So it's just a check on the executive branch. They just open the doors. The House also holds some powers over this by refusing to allow the Senate to adjourn. So now, how can this work if the Republicans are in control of both houses? Right now, the Democrats are in charge, so they're going to continue to open up the recess. Let's say the Democrats kept the Senate. They would just open up a session, and then would stop the executive branch from being able to fill that gap. But now, if the Republicans, when they are in control of the Senate, maybe they'll just recess. Trump envisions becoming a president who's stronger. When he becomes president again next year, he'll be working with the House and the Senate. John Thune, who was elected, is pledging to keep an aggressive schedule until his nominees are confirmed. But it's not clear if recess appointments would work. The announcement of Gaetz and Gabbard put the Senate into life, talking about advice and consent. John Cornyn says we should see the report on this, and we'll see what happens. But the way that this works, you can see Article 2, Section 2, Clause 3. It says, the president shall have the power to fill up all vacancies that may happen during the recess of the Senate by granting commissions which shall expire at the end of their next session. So according to this analysis of this, it says, this appointments clause authorizes the president to make temporary appointments when the Senate is not in session. In Federalist number 67, written by Alexander Hamilton, it refers to the power as nothing more than a supplement to establish an auxiliary method of appointment to make sure you can do it. It's generally accepted the clause was designed to enable the president to actually operate the government when the Senate was not in session. In addition to fostering continuity, presidents have exercised this authority before, and so we'll see if Trump does it when the time comes. Now, here's some more from CBS saying Trump is going to test this process. Before Senate Republicans elected their leaders for the 119th, Trump demanded that the candidates agree to recess appointments. The basis for this is from the Constitution. 10 days is the limit. And so it does not have the same benefits as another nominee who's confirmed by the Senate. Without Senate approval, the appointee would not be paid. The appointee can serve for up to 2 years, depending on when the appointment was made. After that, they could be installed again. Some senators who will become in the majority come January showed little appetite for that. Susan Collins saying she'll throw a fit over it. Kramer, North Dakota, throwing a fit over it. Gates has already resigned. And they're demanding that the report from the House committee be sent over. And we see that Obama did a bunch of this and others have done it. So here is a historical purview of what they've done before. So Bill Clinton appointed a bunch of people basically in his 8th year, started using them more towards the final end of his term. Bush used them years 4, 5, and 6. Obama used them year 1, and then SCOTUS put in the 10-day rule, and then it stopped a bit. But John Thune says he's open to it. Here was his take on with Fox News.
So you've said that you would do recess appointments if it came to that. What's the threshold for getting to that point for recess appointments?
What I said is, Brett, and I think this is that all options are on the table, including recess appointments. Hopefully it doesn't get to that, but we'll find out fairly quickly whether the Democrats want to play ball or not. And I think part of it is getting these folks. We'll start having confirmation hearings as soon as the new Senate is sworn in January. President takes the oath of office January 20th. By the time he takes the oath of office, hopefully a lot of those nominees will be through their confirmation hearings and will be ready to act on them on the Senate floor. And then it's a question of how much do the Democrats resist or object or try to block those nominations from going forward. And we're going to grind them out. We're just going to keep consistently moving, and we'll see what kind of cooperation we get. And then we'll, like I said, we'll make decisions about where do we go from there.
All right. So I hope they are aggressive. We're going to push these people through. We'll see what happens when they're in session. All right.